Okay,
Yeah.
you want me to start? Okay, so hi, I'm Jennifer Josephson-Becker. I am Adam's EC skills teacher here, and we are holding technically what's called a reeval that was requested by you last time. We've done some follow-ups, and after everybody introduces themselves, I'll explain where we are in the process.
Yep. I'm Mrs. Bloom. I'm a general education third grade teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm Miss Cleveland. I'm the K through 6 director.
I'm UNICEF Fedi. I'm Adam's daddy.
So after our meeting last time, I went ahead and contacted our school psychologist in advance because the last testing that he had, there was some difficulty gathering data because he was, not non-compliant, but it was very hard for them to understand, where he was, his baseline. So psychologist said, not a problem, we can test for the AU. As long as somebody's with him that knows him and he feels comfortable. I said not a problem. So we went ahead and contacted everybody, and today we're here to talk about the reeval and the process and what type of tests we will order as a team. Okay. Also the strategies, we've been collecting data for, I know you had wanted a functional behavior plan, so I've prompted for that in the reeval process. Okay, and we've used, like your wife and I have talked every day, we used our first then. We've seen a decrease in the wandering behaviors, some of those behaviors, more sitting and attending, and just some more interest in socialization.
We know this is progress.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, and I knew that after those behaviors settled down, he would be calmer. He'd know, because he's so heightened, he doesn't know what to expect, and he has triggers. It's confusing for him, right, when we're talking at him. So we really had to link that language to something meaningful to him, right? And I spoke to Dad about how I taught him the first then, and he understands it.
That's
He's
good.
able to. It's a concrete thing. First I do this, then I do that, and then we can do something of your choice. Okay. Your wife had mentioned he's into some more paints and just really some more arts
You
and
did
crafts.
say that the other day in the classroom.
Yeah. And he says I do homework, and that's great. You know what I mean? So he's he has his moments, but I'm able to calm him down sooner than later. Okay?
Great.
Knowing some of his trigger points.
Have you guys been doing ABA therapy?
Yeah, I just told her where I go.
Yeah.
Actually, I received a call, I think yesterday, the day before yesterday, and they said they're gonna start the 29th.
Okay.
But first 2 weeks, they're just gonna kind of get him there at 3 to 6 for 3 hours, just for like assessments kind of thing. And then around mid-February, you'll be doing 12 to 6.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
I talked to them. I told them to coordinate with the school,
Sure.
Yeah.
with Mrs. Becker
Yeah.
and you. So just to make sure we get a smooth
Transition.
operation, because we're gonna be on the same page, like working on the same thing at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of those target skills, let us know. We'll let them know what we're working on, so we have
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah, we want to write it. If he's going to be moving from 12 to 6, we want to make sure we put that in the IEP.
Okay.
That way as well. So it's not counted against him for leaving school.
Okay.
So we want to document that
Yeah,
in the IEP. So that's good to know.
So right now we're just talking about like a record review. He's had very good attendance since he was out. We have some work samples. We've been doing like some online through the adaptive curriculum. There's an N2Y adaptive piece that I was taught on how to assess, it was colored, because he's technically nonverbal. It's hard to know what he knows and what he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And so usually when taught something, he has good retention. The language piece obviously is a struggle for him, but his colors, his numbers, even counting, he likes math too. So that's what I've been able to tell through that adaptive curriculum. He doesn't do, state assessments. And then we've talked about some of the medical, right? Your wife and I have spoken about feeding therapy and things like that,
Yeah.
trying new things. I know he's back to eating hamburgers, right? Or cheeseburgers.
Yeah, he's not steady, but yeah, every once in a while he will eat a burger or pizza.
Right,
So we try
so-
to get him to like. Yeah.
Right, and so we have him sit for snack. We foster that every day, you know, a snack time, even, you know, twice a day. He has to sit at the desk to have snack 90% of the time. You know, we're trying to
And
reinforce
ABA
that.
will work with you on that too, the feeding. So we'll be like
Right, so
loads of,
we're really trying to work on the feeding aspect, communication aspect. In terms of like his discipline, he's had a few, you know, outbursts that sometimes they were, you know, he wanted something, he had a hard time telling me what it was. I was able to understand. The other day we had a bubbles incident, he wanted bubbles, he called them something else, and then I redirected him that they're bubbles and he likes to blow them, and okay. So, but I'm just trying to go through any of this. So we've had a lot of observational data. I'm with him every day. So I observe, you know, him coming to circle. Occasionally we use positive reinforcement, punch cards, if he comes and attends. Do you have any questions so far?
I'm good.
Okay. And so, let's see here. I'm just trying to go through everything. Talked about assessment reviews.
Yeah,
So,
speech. Anything about speech, like in
well, so
addition?
we're gonna get that right now. I'm gonna talk about what type of, we're gonna have to, because we're gonna do a whole reeval.
Okay.
It's going to give us a real understanding of where he is, and I know you were thinking about increasing times, so we just need that data, right?
Okay.
In order to be able to come to the meeting, the eligibility meeting, and then talk about times and services.
Okay.
Okay, so I've already contacted her, his testing's already in Trello, and we're processing it, okay? So when we look at the reeval decision, we've all discussed it, we agree that he needs a formal reeval. In terms of eligibility, we already know that he was eligible, and this is like an elective reeval. So basically we're looking at the program development of the IEP, present levels we're gonna be getting, and functional performance, and whether any additional or modifications to special ed or related services, which is speech and OT, are needed to meet the measurable annual goals of participation in the gen ed setting. So yes, that is what we are ordering, testing on that. And I could review some of the tests that we're gonna be prompting for. We're gonna be doing an adaptive behavior eval, okay? Behavior assessment related to autism spectrum disorder, an educational evaluation, a functional behavior assessment, a health screening, a motor screening, an observation, which I do, psychological evaluation, a sensory processing eval, social developmental history, which I think we'll update, we'll ask you for that, and a speech language communication eval, okay? And under the health screening, we are gonna be doing a vision screening as well. And with that psychological eval, it's gonna be an intellectual education. We're gonna have like a score, okay, of where he is. Any questions about any of those subtests?
No.
And this is per DPI, right? Because we're looking at the autism spectrum disorder. So those are the tests that they recommend for a reeval.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel like it's covering
Yeah.
everything that we need moving forward, okay?
Sounds, yeah.
So.
And I think the next meeting will have all of that
Yes.
hard data. We'll send it to you in advance, that way you guys can look at it
Yeah.
prior to the meeting. And then sometimes the service providers are not available for the specific meeting, so they'll call you in advance and discuss the evaluations with you, and if any questions you have. So we'll send it to you in advance, and we'll schedule a meeting, we'll sit down, we'll review the data, and then we'll look at, service time. So each
Right.
service provider will say, we're gonna give Adam 3 times a week,
Right.
this 30 minutes. So just depending on whatever data they have. But we'll make sure that you get that prior to the meeting. And that will be our next meeting.
Yeah, it'll be an eligibility meeting.
Yeah, was that the one on March? The Or that should
It's due because we prompted it. Yeah, it's like 90 days. We have 90 days.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's already in the process. So as soon as we, collect everything, you will have it.
Okay.
So later on today or tomorrow, you will receive a consent for eval. Like you just, if you obviously want to move forward, you sign yes. And then what's called a prior written notice is after the meeting. It's just going to talk about what we discussed in the meeting today. And you're welcome to look at that. If there's any changes, just let me know. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
The most important thing is just if you'll get those signatures sent back to us, we'll send it to you through Box and just go ahead and sign those
Electronically?
digitally.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
electronic.
A lot of people be sending me some stuff. You gotta print and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
Nope, it should take.
I don't even have a scanner.
Yeah, it
Once
should
I
take long enough.
finalize this eval,
Yeah.
I'll get that consent out. I send it to Alicia Jenkins. She sends it to you along with the prior written notice, which does not need to be signed. I don't believe it might be. Don't quote me. Every district is different, but if it is, she'll have that box for you to sign.
All right. So
Yeah, and
I thank you for
yeah.
the big developments from last meeting to this
Sure.
meeting.
Yeah.
I see a lot of progress.
Good.
I mean, in practice, because I don't even listen to the speed. I listen to the results, and I see
Sure.
that Adam is getting some results, and that's a
Yeah.
great testament to you and all of you
Thank
as a
you.
team.
Yeah.
Good job, team.
And
Yeah.
as a team, I mean, all of you,
Yeah.
and it's a work in progress.
It-
We're
it
gonna
is,
have
and
we're gonna have some conflicts sometimes. We're gonna work on it. It's just gonna go like this.
Well, it's really understanding
Yeah.
how he reacts and what he needs is what
Yeah.
I'm really first and foremost looking at.
Consistency is very important. for
Yeah,
us.
consistency.
Yeah, I think we're definitely in the right direction and got some good traction going on
I
here.
really do, and even with the
Yeah.
computer, when I gave him the adaptive assessment, he was very disinterested in it. So that I like. We've
Yeah.
kind of been
Well, we've
breaking
been-
that.
We've been cutting him off his cell phone too.
Good.
Like we give him cell phone, but just
Well, you
for-
know, it
as a
really-
reward
Well,
sometimes.
it
or-
rewards the dopamine in your brain. It really is an addiction.
Well,
and
he-
so a lot of my own kids have it, and so it's really just breaking that
Yeah.
addiction.
What happened when he get cell phone for a long time?
Uh-huh.
He forget about the outside world.
Right.
He becomes like a virtual human, like
Yes.
everything that's real, he don't recognize
Right. So
it.
that's why we kind of had to just bring him to
Yeah.
like, hey, let's sit at our desk, let's participate in here,
Mhm.
let's ask things, let's respond.
When you cut him off
That's
for
what
a
I
long
said.
time,
Good.
he started act like a real human. He'll be
That's what I'm
like,
trying to tell
I'm
you.
like, okay,
yeah.
now you're becoming human, so we're gonna cut you off that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Okay, good
I
deal.
think that's what it is. We're gonna minimize his cell phone
Thank-
use,
Yes, please.
and that helps. That's why he
It
did.
helps me.
That's why.
And I was trying to
On
tell you
behalf
my
of
That's
all
why-
the teachers
Yeah.
ever.
Yes, that's progress because
I know.
lack of cell phone helps him a lot.
Yeah, and he's not tantrum as much, so he's not as frustrated, and that's what we want, because all behavior has meaning.
I think
Right.
the times he's been frustrated since our last meetings have been where he's not able to communicate what he wants. And I was there when
The
he was the
bubbles.
bubble
Yeah.
incident, and he just wasn't able to communicate what he wanted.
Yeah.
So, and not
And-
really he was communicating, but we weren't understanding.
And sometimes it's gonna happen because I can't always anticipate what he wants, right? Like
Yeah.
even if, because it was kind of like a free time, so I understand that he wanted to do something, and I'm all about giving choice, but I need to know, what he wants. So
Yeah. Okay.
okay, let's keep it up.
All right. Let's keep moving forward.
Let's do it.
And
We'll see you again in a little bit.
Yeah, and let
March.
ABA. What is the company that's gonna be working?
let
with it?
me
Or you
let
can
me give
email
you
it
the
to me.
email.
You can
Uh,
always email it to me, forward
let
it
me-
just so I know who.
I email it to you.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
great.
So I know who to expect it
The
from. Do we have
director-
to sign anything, Crystal, in terms of communication, or we're okay?
He should have a release. If you don't have one already, ABA will give you a release too.
Oh, he told me that.
Yeah,
Okay, just so we are.
Yeah,
that we
that's it.
can communicate back
Because
and
of
forth.
HIPAA.
Yeah, I told him the school we need to coordinate. He said we're gonna do like some kind of
Send a release, yeah.
Okay,
and then there'll be like some communication. I'm gonna give you his email and we just go from there.
Yeah, once we
Absolutely.
have that release, we'll be able to share that information and they can share theirs.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
and
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
you guys stay warm.
Yeah.